everybody loves to say on my first day in office I do this, and I know as a representative you're waiting for bills to vote on, but is there something that's such a priority to you or something you have a passion for that you would actually sponsor a bill, or what kinds of things would you, let's say, proactively try to do, with your own steam?
That's a great question. So we were actually just talking about this before we started. So she asked me day one, like, what are bills I'm passionate about? Like, we're in such a crisis right now. I want us to focus heavily on the debt crisis, the out-of-control spending, the inflation, and the border. So HR 2 that's already been signed, we need to reintroduce that to get the border closed down. HR 1 to get us back to being energy independent. I fully support those. But look, there's 435 members of Congress, and a lot of times they are waiting around for bills to vote on that leadership puts forward. But the most important vote that any representative takes, they actually take it before Congress is officially in session. And that's when they negotiate the rules for that Congress, and that's when they pick a new speaker. So you guys remember in January of 2023, it took like 18 votes to choose a speaker. That's because the House Freedom Caucus was attempting to negotiate a rules package to get the debt under control and to get us away from omnibuses and continuing resolutions. So what I'm the most passionate about is the vote that I'm going to take before I actually really even take a vote, and that's when we negotiate a rules package. So my standards for a rules package are very simple. We have to do individual appropriations bills. No more bunching 10 bills together and then saying, well, you have to pass the bill to see what's in the bill. Remember that when Nancy Pelosi said that? We all laughed, but that was like actually one of the most honest statements that's ever come out of a congressman. Definitely out of Nancy Pelosi. But it's true, because that's the way they roll. They're trying to do that right now for continuing resolution. So I want us to get out of that habit. The Constitution dictates that Congress does individual appropriations bills. So my first criteria in a rules package is we have to do individual appropriations bills. No more omnibuses, no more continuing resolutions. Congress has to do their job. Number two, we have to have a cap on spending. McCarthy ultimately got fired not because people didn't like Kevin McCarthy. McCarthy got fired because he agreed to put a cap on spending, to put a ceiling on how much the Congress will authorize the executive branch to spend. And it's pretty simple. I think the Congress should only be able to spend what we take in tax revenue, just like all of us have to do. No more putting stuff on the credit card. That is the budget right there. We take in $5 trillion. That's all you're going to spend is $5 trillion. You got to pay Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid up front. But we can't have no cap on spending. That's a hard rule to have. And then we have to be able to fire the speaker in case he does what Kevin McCarthy does. I think having the motion to vacate, where any member of Congress can say, this guy's not doing his job, let's vote on him keeping his job, I think that's absolutely key. That's how we enforce the individual appropriations bills, and that's how we empower members of Congress that the people voted for, as opposed to the lobbyists that control a lot of the re-election coffers. So that's probably, actually, to be honest with you, the most important vote that I'll take. There's a bunch of other ones I'm pretty passionate about, us getting out of Iraq and Syria and a lot of these wars, and ending the war in Ukraine. But that rules package and making sure we don't spend ourselves into oblivion. Because look, we're $36 trillion in debt. If I win in November, by the time I swear in January, we're probably going to be about $37 trillion in debt. Adding on more than we take. It's going to cost us more to service the debt than we take in or we make as a country in our GDP. Absolute insanity. The country cannot go on that way. So we've got to get really, really serious about that. So I'd say that debt crisis and the border crisis are probably the two biggest things I'm passionate about right now.